Okay, so let us start with group 2. This is Andrei's work, so pizza. So Andrei, I would say that your text right now is looking a little too close to certain areas of this layout. So what I would say is you want to first align these areas of your information. So align your ingredients list to in the oven. And then you're going to shrink this down. You're going to have to shrink this down because this is going to be, a little too big. And now it's almost touching this text, so we want to avoid that. And then same thing with the PI. We're getting too close to these edges and these edges right here. So just organize this a little bit more carefully in your grid. And you might need to decrease the size of your larger letter forms. And we're also missing a pull quote, so that's something we need to include in this layout. I would say the same goes for your connotative. The text right here is getting too close to the edge, so be a little bit more leery of that. I'm not sure what the Z is doing right here. I'm inclined to align it with the I and the A, just put that more in the middle. Like so right now it's, might align according to this line over here, but I would just move it over so that it aligns, like it's pretty much in the center. The center of the Z matches the center of the I and then the A, right? And then take a look at how this other information flows. Right now it's not a clear rectangle, it's still kind of rough, so I'd like to see that addressed a little bit more accordingly, and we want to see how your pull quote functions in this particular layout. Let's go to Celina's work. So Celina, this looks a lot better. We've simplified the amount of fonts we're using, so that works. And then this is your connotative, which looks pretty good. I would say, though, we're missing your title here that says veggie lasagna, so I'd like to bring that in somehow. And then let's organize your information so that we label this as ingredients, instructions, step 1, step 2. We're missing that, right? And then we also need a pull quote of sorts, right? We also need a pull quote in here. So again, let's label some of those areas accordingly, right? Instructions and then the steps, okay? And then it would be nice to see if we can just align certain things. Right now everything's so centered. So like maybe align to the left, align to the right. See if you can align certain things like this information align to this part, and maybe some areas right here can align more to this side, and this will open up some areas for your pull quote. Okay. Let's go to Jermaine's work. So Jermaine, this looks good, better, I would say. I like the selection of fonts that you're using. Now what we need to do is to play around with the layout a little bit because it is looking like a traditional recipe card. So to do that, we would like to see how we break up this information. So I would say this is one direction you can choose for stacking your title. Maybe there's another direction you can explore. And we're also missing a pull quote of sorts. So a quote that you would like to pull out for your viewer to remember. This is looking better. It's a lot more organized. I think this is supposed to be cheesecake or rum cheesecake. So I like where this is going right here, and I like how you're hiding the Nua over here. See if there's something else we can do with that. And instead of putting this on a diagonal, maybe work with what you're working with currently, which is like stacking the type vertically and horizontally without the diagonal. I think this is not really working. We're just adding too many rows without any purpose. So work with what you have here, okay? And let's work with a pull quote as well. Let's move on to Christian's work. So this is Christian Flores. So Christian, what I was saying with the text was certain areas of the text should read upright, not all of it, because right now this is upside down, and that's upside down, and that's almost upside down, and that's upside down. So certain areas of the text. So if I think this might be something that you might need to enlarge so that we can see more of the curve, because it is going to drive you nuts to see certain areas upright and others not. So I would just make those into curves somehow, because right now we're getting upside down text. Otherwise, I would say the rest of your recipe looks good, and just careful with how close you're getting to the edges. This looks good. I would not change anything about it. Let us, and I know those are your full quotes, so let's just address those for your denotative, and I think this looks good for your connotative. Okay? Let's move on to, this is Bernie's work. So we're working with chocolate cake. This looks better, Bernie. I think if we're going to be working with type, we're not supposed to be doing any upside down type like I addressed in previous critiques, okay? And I would like to see the flow of this circle maybe work with the rest of your text. Right now, putting this on a, making this an italic and also putting this on a specific angle like that is not really working. So let's work with this circular-like format for your chocolate cake, and careful how close you're getting to the edges. Okay? So that's for your connotative. Your denotative, I'm not saying much here in order to give feedback. Honestly, I just think that we're stacking text and placing things randomly on the page. What you can do is maybe, I would say, like you've done with your instructions, treat your ingredients list just without this purposeless diagonal that we have this text on. And then same thing with chocolate cake. Just see how you can break up chocolate cake and then use that. And then let's work with a pull quote. I'd like to see a pull quote somewhere. Alright, so we have, that is the end of the first group. I will see you guys in the next group.